Hi, I'm Casey Baynes, founder and executive director of the Casey Cares Foundation. It's hard to believe that I started Casey Cares over 15 years ago. It has been an amazing journey. We started out helping 3 families a year. Now we're providing over thousands and thousands of smiles to all critically ill children in the Mid-Atlantic. Not once in a lifetime, not once a year, but continuously throughout their treatment process and even beyond. I was the CEO of our family trucking and warehousing company called Wall & Weber's, and I loved every minute of it. I was able to work with my brother, my father, and get that international flair of dealing with what you do logistically with trucking and warehousing. I was still very actively involved in the community, and I spent my time in the hospitals volunteering. It was those experiences from volunteering at the hospitals after talking to physicians, social workers, and families who were battling for their lives that I really got to know what these families needed as they were really fighting to make every day count. That's how Casey Cares got started. At Casey Cares, we measure our success by the amount of times we get to say yes. We have never had to deny the request of a critically ill child due to funding. To us, that's true success. So we measure our success by the number of smiles we're able to provide year after year. Each year, from when we started in 2000, we have grown 25%. So the first couple years, yeah, that sounds great. It's getting hard, but there are still plenty of critically ill children for us to reach out to, and we have a generous community who continues to make sure our funding is matching the programs that we are pouring out to the community. Our footprint in the Mid-Atlantic really happened organically. You know, we live amongst the best medical facilities here in the Mid-Atlantic, and people flock here when they are having devastating diagnosis. So it was organically. We were reaching out to our families who were at University of Maryland, at Hopkins, at CHOP, at Sinai, and they come from all over the region and the world. So Casey Cares would step up, help those families, not only while they were here, but when they would go back home. And their homes were in Pennsylvania, in Virginia, in DC. That's how we really gained that footprint in the Mid-Atlantic. When people find out that I now do Casey Cares full-time, and I feel so lucky and blessed that I get to do my passion day in and day out. And especially at my age, it's a lot of times people wait until later in life to give back and to get very involved in the community. Oftentimes people say, well, why aren't you in corporate America? Why aren't you doing that? I feel as if you could have so many more financial rewards that way. And I've always been very involved in the community. From the time I was in high school doing flood drives for the victims in the Midwest, that's where I caught the bug. That's where I first felt that the reward for helping and giving somebody to somebody and to support them when they have no other resources was the best reward. And surprisingly, because I never would have known if you would have asked me, 20 years ago, what do you think you're going to be when you grow up? I would have never said philanthropy. I never would have thought that I would have been as into and involved in the nonprofit world. And I love every minute of it. And I encourage everybody to get involved, to volunteer, because that truly will be the best gift you can give yourself. So it's ironic. A lot of people say, why did you start Casey Cares? How did you start Casey Cares? Was there something that happened to your child? I had actually started Casey Cares before I was married or had children. And I think it was because I found out what needed to happen, what families were not receiving, what they really needed to help, win this battle for their lives. Coincidentally, I did have a brother who died when he was young, when he was a baby, and I know the impact that it has on a family even after the loss of their child. So that's why at Casey Cares, it's so very important for us, not just to help the family while they're engaged in that battle, but even after the loss of a child, or when their child goes into remission, because now they're entering a whole new stage as cancer-free, and we're there to support them through that.